So it's another Friday. It's the second episode of the Wild Pitch podcast. And I don't think I'm going to get up and change my shirt, but we're also going to film the third episode. So don't judge me if I'm wearing the exact same thing. And it looks like it was taking place over 2 different weeks. Nick, how was your week? And as we do this in rapid fire this week, I encourage everyone to stay on because we're not going to go that long today.
Yeah, I think the plan is to try and keep these episodes 15 to 20 minutes max, like hard out at 20 minutes, and 15 is better. My week was good. We don't have a lot of time for chit chat, so let's.
We don't. My week was well. Found a lot of leads in the closet, put them on a spreadsheet, and if they're alive, you can still sit with them. It's a pretty cool trick I learned. Today, we are talking Medicare agents that also sell life insurance that also sell Medicare, and just Medicare only agents. What are your thoughts on today's 15-minute topic?
It's an interesting thing, because these people are all going to be doing things a little bit differently. You're going to be using a different type of lead source. You're going to be approaching your clients in different ways. You've got to worry about different types of regulations. If you are a Medicare agent who wants to sell life insurance to your Medicare book of business, things are explicitly very tricky. The system is really set up so that you cannot do that easily in a way that is also legal. I got a story from a friend of mine yesterday where he said a client of his called and they were like, hey, so there's these couple of guys from the government and they were going over my Medicare, and now they want to talk to me about my retirement plans. And I have this life insurance with you. And so I need to find out a little bit about what that is so I know if it's affecting my retirement plans. And my friend was like, they're from the government? and he was like,
ATF cross-selling Medicare products now?
Yeah, right. Maybe they are, but no. These guys were actually from Bankers Life.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, I know. Yeah, not a government organization. Turns out
wasn't CIA.
No,
okay.
Was not. And so came in and like flipped this person's Medicare Advantage plan, and then immediately started talking about retirement, which is a violation of your scope of appointment. And is a violation of cross-selling rules. And because this friend in particular is somewhat litigious, and they tried to replace his life insurance policies that he wrote, these people are going to have some very uncomfortable conversations regarding why they were engaging in cross-selling with CMS and other people. You want to be careful, right, when you're going to be doing that kind of stuff, especially if you're starting as a Medicare agent first and you're looking to sell life insurance. Life is tricky. Less tricky if you're starting with life insurance. The way the rules are set up, until a scope of appointment is signed, it's sort of fair game, which is weird and sort of unfair to the Medicare agents out there, but I don't make the rules. Especially right now when there is not a 48-hour cooling off period, right? If you sell a life insurance policy and the person says to you, hey, I also want to talk to you about Medicare, do you do that also? And you hand them a scope of appointment and you don't talk about anything after that scope of appointment gets signed, you're okay compliance wise. You're fine. You're not allowed to ask them about Medicare, which makes things tricky, right? You can't bring up, hey, do you have a Medicare Advantage plan? That's not compliant. But if they ask you, you're fine. So from a compliance standpoint, those two things get kind of tricky. And you have to do different things to approach those. Most of the agents that I know who try to sell both products are very good about keeping air between the sales so that they're not going back to back on sales, because you will get yourself in trouble eventually if you go back to back on sales. Cross-selling is still not allowed. but most of them are also all running some form of final expense lead
Mm-hmm.
or some form of lead that is not explicitly targeting Medicare. Because right now, the Medicare lead world is really saturated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it used to be 5, 6 years ago, less 3, 4 years ago, you could generate Medicare leads super cheap.
Oh yeah.
And so people would go in with Medicare leads and try and sell all sorts of crazy stuff. That's just not the world anymore, and you got to sort of keep up with the trends and what's changing and stuff.
Let me throw a question your way. What would you say, or why would you say, if the first category we're talking about is Medicare agents that also sell life,
Mhm.
why do your core Medicare agents struggle to sell life products differently than, say, a life agent can grasp Medicare?
Everybody who is 65 and over wants to talk about Medicare. It is really important to them that they have the right plan. Many of them are worried, for better or for worse, that they don't have everything that they're entitled to, that other people are getting things that they're not getting. They want to be sure, they want to check. They know that there are options out there and that they need to have some sort of insurance. All of them. Makes it really easy to talk to people about that. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, gee, today is the day that I want to review my life insurance. It just never happens. People that do this for a living don't want to review their life insurance. My family members, like my wife, I bought a life insurance policy for myself, and my wife refused to talk to me about it. She's just like, I'm not going to talk about life insurance. If you need to buy a life insurance policy for yourself, go do it. But I'm not talking to you about it. I don't need to know. Just let me know where the policy is if something ever happens to you. People don't want to talk about it. Life insurance is a skill-based sale. You have to have sales skills. And a lot of Medicare agents don't want to hear this, but a lot of Medicare agents don't actually need to develop a lot of sales skills. And so many of them don't. Doesn't mean that there aren't skilled Medicare salesmen, and it doesn't mean that there doesn't require some sales skills to sell Medicare. Medicare is not as easy as some people will make it seem, but many Medicare agents don't really develop real sales skills, not in a significant way, because the conversation is easy and it's a knowledge-based sale and it's a consultative sale. You're
Yeah, I would definitely
develop
say.
consultative skills.
Okay.
Just a skill set.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely an analysis consultative then enroll,
Yeah.
where final expense is definitely sales based. It's create a rapport, find a
Yeah.
connection, establish a need, create a need, find a product, sell the product, address some common pitfalls with sharing of personal information, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. And it's just a different thing. Like, you're not ever going to lose a Medicare sale because somebody doesn't want to give you their bank account, right? Like, you're never going to lose a Medicare sale on that. It's just a different thing. And so the difference in sales process, going both ways, really trips people up. It really trips people up who are final expense agents, life insurance agents of any stripe, honestly, who are very used to like a hardcore sales track where they're like running a presentation and they've got a specific pitch and they're waiting for specific objections. It's really hard for them to switch into that consultative role, which is necessary for Medicare. That asking a lot of questions, hearing what they want, figuring out what's important to them, what trips their trigger, like that, in like kind of figuring out what it is they really need when they don't know what they need.
Mhm.
and then putting together some things that solve problems that they didn't recognize that they wanted to have solved, but they really did want to have solved. Like, that's a different thing. You don't really do that with life insurance much. There are some types of life insurance where you do that sort of thing with, and you will hear a lot of people on social media and stuff talking about, like, hey, become consultative in your life insurance sales and blah, 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 blah. Even those people aren't really that level of consultative. So it's difficult. It's you've got to wrap your head around thinking about problems in a slightly different way.
Fair enough. You want to talk about the just Medicare agent and how that falls into this spectrum of the different types of agents you encounter?
Well, yeah, because it's going to be very different. And so most of what you see online is really geared towards people who are 100% full-time Medicare. Most of what else you see on YouTube, most of what you're going to see on social media, it's geared towards full-time Medicare agents. I remember when I first got into doing this, I went to a seminar put on by one of the larger IMOs nationally, and they had a bunch of agency reps who were successful and successful agents, talking about how, like, outside of AEP, the thing that you want to do is you want to cultivate finding dual eligible people. And to do that, one of the best things you can do is start volunteering at soup kitchens. Go volunteer at a soup kitchen and get to know these people and get to gain their trust volunteering for the soup kitchen, and let them know that this is what you do. And when the time comes, they're going to come to you, and it will be very difficult to have them stop being your client, and they're not going to get flipped away from you. Which, by the way, is true, and it works really, really well. It will take years of regular dedication. Go to that soup kitchen every week for several years, and you will build yourself a client base that will be very difficult to pry off of you. They will be very loyal to you.
Years.
But it takes years. Like not like 2 or 3 years, like years. But it works. If that's your goal, if you're, that'll work. You'll talk to people about developing relationships with, like, pharmacists, or doctor's offices, or clinics. I have agents that I work with. I've got an agent that has a relationship with social workers that work at a dialysis clinic, who need assistance, and for a variety of reasons, Medicare Advantage is going to make more sense to them than some of their other options. Like, these things work, but if you are a final expense agent or any kind of life insurance agent who's running leads, the thing that I would say is all of these techniques that these people are doing, everything that they're trying to do, all of this time that they're spending at soup kitchens and developing relationships with pharmacists and clinic social workers and whatever, they're doing that to get audiences. Going to Walmart, renting booths at Walmart, they're doing all of that to get audiences with people. And as life insurance agents, we have a very easy way to get an audience with people.
Leads.
Buy leads.
Yeah.
Just buy leads. Just buy leads. Buy leads, sell a life insurance policy to pay for the leads, build your life insurance book of business. They like you, they trust you.
There you go.
Go to your book of business and sell them Medicare. It will work just as well, faster, and with less time investment, maybe more money investment, probably more money investment, but a lot less time investment. You'll get there a lot faster.
I'll share a funny story as we get to the 15-minute mark. About 8 years ago, I got my license, had taken the pre-licensing courses before my 11 to 11 shift as a paramedic. Like, got in at 8, spent a few hours, went to work. Got in at 8, spent a few hours, went to work. Got my license, went on a bunch of ride-alongs. My original mentors had stopped riding along with me. You've seen enough. You're not going to see anything else. And then I got my license, and I found out leads cost money. I'm like, oh, crap. I don't have any of that money thing. What are you talking about?
Right.
That's why I'm here. Man, I had a credit card that I opened up with 0 interest for 6 months, and I charge it to that. I had a little bit of savings in case I was no good at this, so I didn't lose the house. But thank God I didn't know leads cost money, because I probably wouldn't have had the balls to take that step forward.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, leads do cost money for those watching the video, but it's a way to get you where you want it to be. It's a way to give you, I love the way you said it today. It's an audience of people. versus having to cultivate that audience over years and years and years. With the last 2 minutes that we have here, a Medicare agent that sells life insurance secondarily, what would you say an average income, not like that $40,000 a year that those average people make, what do you think is a fair income a Medicare first, I know how to sell life kind of agent can make?
I mean, if you're a Medicare first agent and you've been doing this for years, there's no reason why you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like low to mid six figures after 4 or 5 years, like that's not crazy.
Secondarily, I'm a life insurance agent. I buy 25 leads a week. I sell $3,500 a week. I don't want to recruit. I don't want to manage adults and babysit people and their personalities, but I want to be able to do Medicare. What is Medicare going to do to my general income income amount?
You will have replaced your final expense sales numbers in about 3 years if those are the numbers that you're doing. If you do that for about 3 years and you diligently talk to everybody in your book of business about Medicare, also everybody, you have to talk to everybody. Don't assume some people won't. If you do that and you're diligent about it, you will have replaced easily that $3,500 a week income with Medicare renewals in about 3 years.
There you go. I'm just a Medicare agent. I cultivate my relationships through Walmart, soup kitchens, doctor's offices, pharmacists, networking events, local marketing, branding, blah, blah, blah. What's my projected income kind of look like?
It's going to be about this. It's going to be about the same. You will probably take a lot longer to get there. You probably, and Medicare takes a long time to ramp up. So it's going to take a couple of years. You may need a second job, which could be selling life insurance. I don't know. But if you're not life licensed, you will probably need something to supplement that little bit of income, because it's going to take a couple of years for this to catch fire. It's the reason why a lot of Medicare only agents go captive to start, because a lot of captive Medicare agencies will actually offer a little bit of a salary and provide some stability.
There you go. There you go. We're at the 17-minute mark. We're going to keep this under 20 minutes. We've got 2 episodes to record today and not an extra minute left in today to do so. So please like this video. If you like what you saw, comment below on what you would like to hear us talk about. Subscribe to the channel. I'm really proud of the fact that Nick's first episode garnered the most views that pretty much any episode has so far of all the work that we put in since November. The subscriber count rapidly increased over a week's time. Let's keep that going. Let's see how quickly we can get that number up and interact with the video so that YouTube shows this video to somebody who doesn't even know that they need it.
Yeah, comments. Again, comment, just say, great video. That does more than you can possibly imagine.
There we go. Next video coming up in just a few minutes.